and she's still living, and she's coming to see the grandkids here soon. And all my kids are excited because the grandma brings all the greatest snacks and treats. But my mom, I see my mom give money to cousins and aunties and uncles, and then I've seen our lights come off before. And I think that when you have a person that's willing to give when it's going to hurt, it sets up something inside of you that's a little bit greater than I'm just going to give you what I got. It's like, hey, if we're going to be loyal, if we're going to do life together, you're going to get whenever I got it, you're going to have a shot to get it. And it was really a beautiful thing.
One thing you never did was ditch school, because what did your mom do for a living?
Well, my mom now is a truancy officer, so she would kind of get on people for that. But it worked perfectly for her because she was a truancy officer before she actually took that job. She worked at Procter & Gamble when we were in school, and she was one of the senior advisors and making sure that the people were getting the products for anything. So she knew how to relate well. But I graduated in '95, and the Columbine thing happened in '94, and she decided, hey, you're going to go off school. I'm going to go back to college and get a psychology degree so I can go be a part of the Boone County school system and help kids and families that need it. And so a lot of times when kids are missing school, it's usually something bigger than just not having a ride to school. It's usually something that's going on with the family, and she's all about that, trying to give more of herself to go impact a life or a family that really needs it.
In your senior season at Boone County High School, you rushed for 3,166 yards and a state record 54 touchdowns. You were named Kentucky's Mr. Football. I know in small-town America, because I spent some time in West Virginia, I know that sports is a big thing, particularly at the high school level. What was Friday or Saturday night, game night, like in Boone County?
I did not understand that it was not normal for people to shut down their jobs, their weekend, for Friday night football. And so when people would talk about that in Texas or in Florida, I would say that would make sense because we were like that in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, and we were like that in Cincinnati. Football was king where I was from, and I still have people come up to me today. The men are a little bit older now, and I was a truck driver, and I would pull my truck over. I'd make sure I had the route to go through y'all's town, and I would pull my truck over off the expressway so we could watch the game from the highway. And we'd have other people say, "Oh yeah, I went and saw Alexander play when he was this age, or when he was a junior back in '93, '94." And people come up to me all the time, and they tell me the stories because that was normal. And then this little regional cable thing called ESPN showed up at that time too, and they started filming some of the games and following me around, and that brought it even to a higher level of just going around and knowing that people were seeing our little small town, and it was creating a great buzz for our community and for a great pride for what our town really loves, which was football and family.
You mentioned about being 97% white. What about the assimilation into an atmosphere like that, being an African American? And did football ease that to some degree? Because I know you were known as Alexander the Great, and you had your high school number 37, retired a few weeks before your graduation. But what was it like for a black family, a black person in a 97% white environment?
Because we grew up there, we didn't just come out there for high school. Because we grew up there, there was definitely pockets and many pockets of relationships that were just real. I think that when we got to high school, that was the first time that we actually saw some of my white friends have the stress of, wait a minute, this kid, because of the color of his skin, is not one of us. And I saw them wrestle with that, which in turn we end up having to wrestle with it too. But overall, because we were in that public school system from first grade all the way through, there was some tense moments in high school, but for the most part of it, it was well received because, my brother was on the academic team. I was on the academic team. My brother played quarterback on the Pee Wee teams. I was the running back on the Pee Wee teams. Some of my other closer friends that were black, there was a handful of us that were black that were in that community that we all moved in at the same time, first, second, third, through the elementary years. And we were all together, blacks and whites, and we all had friends, and it just wasn't a big deal. And so there is always that issue of somebody that was raised thinking that the color of your skin makes a difference.